This is Game AI Uncovered. My name is Paul Roberts, and in this video we're going to be looking at more steering behaviours. Before we do, I just want to highlight the release of Game AI Uncovered Volume 4. It's got some really interesting stuff in this one, so check it out if you can. Also, this video relies on you having watched the first steering behaviour video that I did. If you haven't seen that one, go give that a watch and come back and watch this one after. Right, so first off we're going to look at an alternative approach to the arrive behaviour. So our zombie is moving towards this position, and it can do this perfectly fine using the seek behaviour. But what we want is for the zombie to slow down and stop when it reaches this position. To do this, we're going to use a slowdown radius. When the zombie is inside this radius, we're going to change the way that we calculate its movement force. So the formula you can see is the seek calculation. We calculate the vector to the target, we're calling this v. Then we normalise v to get its unit vector equivalent. That's the v with the little dash above it. We then multiply this by the zombie's max speed to get the desired velocity. Now we can calculate the seek force. This equals the desired velocity minus the current velocity. We use this to move the zombie towards its target. So let's do that until it reaches the slowdown radius. At the point we are within the slowdown radius, we need to calculate a speed modifier. And we do this by calculating how far away we are and comparing it to the max distance, which we already know because it's the same as the radius. Our speed modifier is simply our current distance divided by the max distance. So if we switch these out for the relevant numbers, you can see that when we're on the edge of the slowdown radius, we get a speed modifier of 1. We then use this in our desired velocity calculation, and timesing anything by 1 will give you the same result. But as we get closer, the current distance decreases, which has an effect on the speed modifier, and we slowly come to a stop. Next up we have wall avoidance. This is a variation of the obstacle avoidance behaviours discussed in the previous video. So let's start with a wall, which has a normal. That's a unit vector that points away from the wall. When our zombie moves forward, its whiskers move further out to give it time to respond, just as was done with the obstacle avoidance behaviour. At the point a whisker has been found to collide with a wall, we respond to the whisker that's deepest into the collision. Taking the whisker's current position and the point of the collision, we can determine how far the whisker penetrated the wall. It is the length of this vector that is important. And using the wall normal, we have our repel direction. This is a direction we want to force a zombie to ensure that we don't collide with the wall. But the force we want to propel the zombie, well, that is the length of the whisker penetration vector. And we get that by multiplying the two together. Returning this force will ensure that our zombie moves alongside the wall. Subsequent frames, whiskers may still be colliding, but these will be penetrating the object less and our agent will be moving slower. So before you know it, the zombie has avoided the collision. Next up, we have Interpose. This is a really simple one to do, but it gives your agent the impression of intelligence. Say we have this zombie, and we want to position it between these other two zombies. We can do this by calculating the vector between the two zombie positions, which we'll call v again. When we have this, we simply use zombie 1's position and add on half of vector v, which is done by multiplying the unit vector of v by half the length of v. Just to be clear, you could simply add v multiplied by a half to the position and skip the unit vector and magnitude step to get the same result, but I'm trying to keep the formulas comparable between the different approaches. However you do it, when you have your target position, simply call your seek or arrive function to get you there. Next up, hide. This time we're looking at it from the human's perspective, and they want to put an obstacle between themselves and the zombie. We need to assess each obstacle to determine where the best position is to hide. The hide position for this obstacle will be a position on the opposite side to the zombie at some preset distance. This is done by calculating the vector v from the zombie to the obstacle, normalizing it, and then multiplying it by the hide distance and adding it to the obstacle's position. We repeat this process for all the obstacles in the area to give us a selection of positions to hide. To decide which one to use, we simply calculate the length of the vector from the human to each of these hide positions and select the nearest one. You then use your arrive function to move you there. Last one for this video is path following. A path is made up of a list of positions. Whether this be preset like a patrol route or calculated using a pathfinding algorithm, the result is the same. You have a list of positions to move to. To follow a path using steering behaviours, it's simply a matter of using your seek function to move you toward the next position in the list. When you are within range of this position, you can remove the current position from the list or move your index onto the next position in the list and seek toward the new position. You repeat this process until there is only one position remaining in the list, at which point you use the arrive function described earlier. This has been Game AI Uncovered. Thanks for watching.